The great viewing screen in the council chamber showed a blue planet spinning slowly in the darkness of space. 12 alien representatives sat in tall chairs arranged in a half-circle, their eyes fixed on the image. Some leaned forward with interest. Others made sounds of disappointment. Ambassador Trell rose from his seat. His skin was pale blue and his eyes were large black orbs that never blinked. He wore the formal gold robes of the Vaxian Empire, the most powerful group in the Galactic Council. "Esteemed members," Trell said, his voice smooth and cold, "we have found another world with intelligent life. They call themselves humans, and their planet Earth." He pressed a button on his wrist device, and the screen changed to show images of Earth cities, vehicles, and people going about their daily lives. As you can see, they are primitive. They have only reached their own moon. Their cities burn fossil fuels. They fight wars among themselves. The screen showed tanks rolling across a desert, soldiers with guns, and smoke rising from buildings. The council members laughed. One with tentacles instead of arms waved them in amusement. "They kill each other over invisible borders and ancient beliefs," Trell continued. "They poison their own air and water. I recommend we classify them as a Class 3 developing world. We can observe them but not make official contact for at least 200 years. The council voted quickly. All 12 lights on the voting panel turned green. Earth would be watched but left alone, like a mildly interesting zoo exhibit. None of them noticed the small smile on Trell's face as he added, "Their world is rich in rare minerals and resources that would be valuable to certain interests." On Earth, in an underground research facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. James Miller stared at his computer screen with wide eyes. For 3 days straight, he had been tracking unusual signals from the edge of the solar system. The patterns were too regular to be natural. "This can't be right," he said to himself, running the analysis program again. The results were the same. He picked up a secure phone and dialed a number only 5 people on Earth knew. "Director White, this is Miller. I need to speak with you immediately. It's about those objects near Neptune's orbit. They're not comets. They're machines, and they're watching us." 6 hours later, Miller stood in a room with the leaders of Earth's 5 most powerful nations. His hand shook slightly as he pointed to the images on the large screen behind him. "These are artificial satellites positioned to observe Earth. They're using technology far beyond ours. The energy signatures, the materials, they're not from here." President Taylor of the United North American Alliance looked grim. "How long have they been there?" "Based on old astronomical data I've reviewed, at least 15 years, maybe longer." Defense Minister Zhao from the Eastern Coalition stood up. "Are they a threat?" Miller shook his head. "They're just watching. But the fact that they haven't contacted us means they don't consider us worth talking to," finished General Stone, his voice hard. "Or they're planning something they don't want us to know about." The room fell silent. Then President Taylor spoke. "The Phoenix Program." Defense Minister Zhao nodded slowly. "Yes, it's time." "What's the Phoenix Program?" asked Miller, looking confused. General Stone's eyes were cold. "Insurance, Doctor. For the past 10 years, we've been quietly building ships, warships, just in case we weren't alone in the universe." He smiled grimly. "And it seems we were right." President Taylor looked at each person in the room. "From this moment, the Phoenix Program gets all the resources it needs. If someone is watching us from the stars, we need to be ready. No one will know about this except the people in this room." As they left, Miller looked again at the images of the alien satellites. He wondered what kind of beings had built them, and what they thought of humans. He hoped they were friendly. He was wrong. 3 years passed. Earth's first official diplomatic ship approached the massive space station where the Galactic Council met. The ship looked simple compared to the sleek alien vessels nearby. Its hull was dark gray with Earth Envoy painted in large white letters. Inside the ship, Ambassador Anna Reed checked her uniform one last time. She was tall, with short gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. 20 years in global diplomacy had prepared her for difficult negotiations, but nothing like this. "We're docking in 5 minutes, Ambassador," said Captain Bell from the pilot's chair. Reed nodded. "Remember the plan. Be polite. Learn everything we can. Don't show anger no matter what they say." The Earth ship docked with a gentle bump. Reed led her team of 5 through the airlock and into the alien station. The halls were huge, with high ceilings that glowed with soft blue light. Aliens of different shapes and sizes moved about, some with too many limbs, others floating rather than walking. A tall, blue-skinned alien approached them. "I am Admrek. I will take you to the council chamber." His voice sounded flat, like he was talking to children. The humans followed him through winding corridors until they reached a massive door that slid open to reveal the council chamber. 12 aliens sat in raised seats looking down at a central platform where Reed and her team now stood. Ambassador Trell's voice filled the room. "The council recognizes the representatives from planet Earth. You may state your purpose." Reed stepped forward. "Honorable Council, I am Ambassador Anna Reed of Earth. We come seeking friendship and membership in your galactic community." A rumble of laughter echoed around the chamber. One council member with scaly red skin leaned forward. "Your species still fights wars over patches of dirt. Why should we accept such primitive beings?" "We have our troubles," Reed admitted, "but we are learning and growing. We seek to share knowledge and—" "Knowledge," interrupted Trell. "Your most advanced computers are toys compared to ours. Your fastest ships took 3 months to reach us. Our slowest cargo vessels are 10 times faster." Another council member, this one with 4 arms, spoke up. "Humans are inefficient biological specimens. You sleep away 1/3 of your lives. Your bodies break easily. Your lifespans are barely a century." Reed kept her face calm despite the insults. "Every species has different strengths. Humans are adaptable, creative. We have studied your history." Trell cut in again. "You destroy your own environment. You make the same mistakes for thousands of years. The Council has standards, Ambassador." The alien with red scales picked up a small device. It projected a hologram of Earth. "Your world has resources we could use, however. Perhaps we could arrange some trade while you develop further." Reed caught the hungry look in his eyes. "What kind of trade do you propose?" "We take what we need. You get protection," said Trell smoothly. Reed felt cold inside but kept her voice steady. "That doesn't sound like trade. That sounds like theft." The council chamber erupted in angry shouts. Trell raised his hand for silence. "The arrogance. You come here in your primitive vessel and question our intentions." He stood, his black eyes cold. "The council's decision is made. Earth is denied membership. You need at least 500 more years of development before we would consider your application." He looked down at Reed. "Return to your planet. Be grateful we even allowed you to speak before us." The journey back to Earth was quiet. Reed sat in her cabin reviewing recordings of everything she had seen on the station. When they landed, General Stone was waiting. "How did it go?" he asked, though her face already told him the answer. "They laughed at us, Marcus." Reed's eyes were hard now. "Worse, they see our planet as something to be harvested. They think we're weak." Stone nodded slowly. "Then it's good they don't know about Phoenix." "Double the program's resources," Reed said. "I saw their technology. We have a lot of catching up to do. And if they come for our resources," Reed looked at the sky, "then they'll learn that humans don't like being laughed at." The hidden base on Mars grew larger each month. What had started as a small research outpost was now a massive shipyard. Tunnels dug deep into the red planet's surface hid the true scale of human activity from prying alien eyes. General Stone walked through the main construction bay where 5 warships were taking shape. Workers in spacesuits moved like ants around the metal frames. Sparks flew from welding torches. Massive cranes lifted engine components into place. "Impressive, isn't it?" said Tom Davis, walking beside him. Davis was short, with wild hair and eyes that never stopped moving. The engineer had worked 80-hour weeks since the Phoenix program began. "How soon until the first fleet is ready?" asked Stone. 6 months for these 5. Then we can build them faster once the automated systems are running. Davis tapped on his tablet. "But you should see what Lisa has done with the propulsion systems." They entered a sealed laboratory where Lisa Wong was working on what looked like a small metal sphere floating in a glass case. Lisa was tall and thin with a serious face that rarely smiled. She didn't look up when they entered. "Is that what I think it is?" asked Stone. Lisa nodded. "We reversed engineered it from the alien satellite we captured. It's their gravity drive, but we've made some improvements." "Improvements?" Stone raised an eyebrow. "They built it to be safe. We built it to be powerful." Lisa finally looked up, a small smile on her face. "Our ships will be twice as fast as theirs." Stone looked impressed. "And weapons?" Tom grinned. "That's the best part. We found a way to hide our energy signatures. They won't see us coming until we're right on top of them." On the other side of Mars, hidden from Earth and the Council's watching eyes, was the real surprise. A fleet of 100 warships already complete. Each ship was black as space, designed to be nearly invisible to sensors. They waited like silent predators for the order to move. Back on Earth, world leaders met in secret. President Taylor looked tired as she addressed the room. "The alien satellites are getting closer. They've moved from Neptune to Jupiter's orbit in the past month." Defense Minister Zhao frowned. "They're getting bold. They think we don't see them." "What about our colonies on Europa?" asked the African Union president. Dr. Miller pointed to a map of Jupiter's moons. "We've hidden them as mining operations. The research teams are making good progress studying the alien technology, but they're vulnerable." Ambassador Reed spoke next. "My sources in the outer planets report unusual activity. The Council is sending more ships to our system." "Are they planning to attack?" someone asked. Reed shook her head. "Worse. They're treating our system like unclaimed territory. They're setting up mining operations on Jupiter's outer moons." The room grew quiet. Taylor broke the silence. "They're stealing from our solar system while pretending we don't exist or matter." General Stone stood up. "Phoenix is ahead of schedule. We have ships ready. Not just the 5 everyone knows about, but 100 more hidden on the far side of Mars." Shocked faces turned toward him. 100, whispered Miller. "How did you build so many so fast?" "We learned from our enemies. Their automated systems, their manufacturing techniques. We improved them." Stone's face was hard. "The question is, what do we do now?" Reed looked at the satellite images of alien ships near Jupiter. "We could send a message, demand they leave our system." "And if they ignore us?" asked Zha. "Then we show them why humans survived on Earth for so long." Stone's voice was quiet but firm. "We fight." President Taylor looked at each person in the room. "Send the message, but prepare the ships. The Council needs to learn that humans are not to be dismissed." As the meeting ended, Reed caught up with Stone in the hallway. "Do you think we're ready? Their technology is still advanced." Stone smiled slightly. "They have technology. We have something they don't." "What's that?" "Thousands of years of war. We know how to fight. They've been at peace so long they've forgotten. That will be our advantage." Reed nodded slowly. "Let's hope it's enough." The message was simple. This solar system belongs to Earth. Your mining operations on Jupiter's moons are unauthorized. You have 48 hours to leave. In the council chamber, Ambassador Trell read the message aloud. Laughter echoed around the room. "The humans are ordering us to leave." The red-scaled council member wiped tears of amusement from his eyes. "What will they do if we refuse?" "Throw rocks at us." Trell smiled coldly. "They are becoming annoying. Perhaps we should teach them their place." A small alien with 6 eyes raised a tentacle. "Our mining operation on Europa is nearly complete. There is a human research base nearby. They keep sending signals asking what we are doing. Ignore them, said Trell. They are like insects buzzing around food. The six-eyed alien hesitated. The human base is in the way of the next drilling site. Trell waved a blue hand dismissively. Then remove it. On Europa, Dr. Kathy Jones watched through the base window as 3 alien ships landed near the mining operation. 20 researchers and engineers worked at this small outpost, studying Jupiter's moon while secretly observing the alien miners. They're coming this way, said her assistant, pointing at a group of figures in strange suits walking across the icy surface. Jones picked up the radio. Unknown vessels, this is Europa Research Base. Please identify yourselves. No answer came. The aliens continued walking toward the base. Try again, Jones told her assistant, and alert Earth. Before the message could be sent, a bright light flashed from one of the alien ships. The research base shook violently. Alarms blared. Cracks appeared in the walls. They're attacking us, shouted someone. Jones ran to the emergency console. Send the distress signal now. The signal reached Earth just before a second blast hit the base. The structure collapsed, ice and metal crushing everyone inside. At the council mining operation, a Vaxian supervisor reported back to his ship. The human obstacle has been removed. Any survivors? Asked his captain. None. Continue with the mining operation. On Earth, the emergency signal played in the crisis room. President Taylor's face was pale as she listened to the final moments of the Europa base. 20 dead, said Defense Minister Joe quietly. Good people. Scientists. General Stone stood with his fists clenched. This was not a misunderstanding. They deliberately attacked our base. Ambassador Reed nodded. They've ignored our message and killed our people. We need to respond. How? Asked Miller. If we send more people, they'll just kill them too. Stone looked at the president. It's time to show them what Phoenix can do. Taylor was silent for a long moment, the weight of the decision heavy on her shoulders. Finally, she nodded. Authorize Operation First Stand. But Stone. She held his gaze firmly. This is a proportional response. Disable their mining operation. No unnecessary casualties. Understood, said Stone. He left the room immediately, already speaking into his secure phone. On Mars, a single warship powered up its engines. The ship was named Remember Europa in honor of the lost research team. Captain Bell sat in the command chair, her face grim as the crew prepared for departure. All systems ready, reported her first officer. Course set for Jupiter, she confirmed. Stealth systems engage. The black ship rose silently from the Martian surface. Unlike the simple diplomatic vessel she had piloted years ago, this ship was a weapon of war, built with reversed-engineered alien technology and human ingenuity. Bell looked at the crew around her, men and women prepared to be the first humans to engage in combat beyond Earth's orbit. The Council thinks we're weak. They think we'll accept the murder of our people without response. She touched a button on her chair, and a picture of the Europa research team appeared on the main screen. 20 faces smiled back at the crew. Let's show them how wrong they are. The ship accelerated smoothly, disappearing against the blackness of space as it headed toward Jupiter, carrying humanity's answer to the Council's deadly insult. The alien mining operation on Europa was busy. Massive machines drilled into the icy moon while workers moved equipment from ships to ground. None of them noticed the dark shape that slid into orbit above them. On the bridge of Remember Europa, Captain Bell watched the operation through enhanced viewing screens. Her ship remained invisible to alien sensors thanks to the stealth technology Tom Davis had developed. Targeting systems locked on their main power generators, reported her weapons officer. We can disable the entire operation with 3 precision strikes. Bell nodded. Prepare to fire. Let's show them what humans can do. The warship's weapons charged silently. Then 3 beams of intense energy shot toward the moon's surface. The alien power generators exploded in bright flashes. Lights across the mining operation went dark. Backup systems failed seconds later as secondary strikes hit them too. The alien workers ran in confusion. Their equipment stopped working. Their ships couldn't take off without power. "Communications online," said Bell's communications officer, broadcasting on all frequencies they use. Bell stood up and spoke clearly. "Attention Council mining operation. This is Captain Bell of the Earth vessel, Remember Europa. Your illegal operation has been disabled in response to your unprovoked attack on our research base. No further violence is necessary if you leave our system immediately." On the Council station, alarms sounded. Reports flooded in about the disabled mining operation. Ambassador Trell rushed into an emergency meeting of senior council members. "What happened?" demanded the red-scaled alien. "A human ship attacked the Europa mining operation," said an aide, her voice shaking. "They disabled everything with technology we didn't think they had." "One ship." Trell laughed nervously. "Send the defense fleet. Destroy this lone human vessel and teach them a proper lesson." The Council's military commander, a tall alien with metallic skin, nodded. "I've already dispatched 10 warships. They will reach Europa in 2 hours." Trell smiled with satisfaction. "Good. This human rebellion will be over quickly." 2 hours later, 10 Council warships surrounded the human vessel, their weapons powered up, ready to destroy the lone ship. The Council commander's voice boomed across space. "Human vessel, surrender immediately or be destroyed. Inside, remember Europa." The crew looked at Captain Bell. She smiled calmly and pressed a button on her chair. "Now," she said simply. Suddenly, space seemed to ripple around them. Where there had been empty darkness, now 100 human warships appeared, surrounding the Council fleet. They had been there all along, hidden by their advanced stealth technology. On the Council ships, sensors blared warnings. Officers stared in disbelief at their screens. "Impossible," whispered the commander. "Where did they come from?" Captain Bell's voice came through the communication system again, this time addressing the Council fleet. "This is your only warning. Leave our system or be disabled like the mining operation. We have no desire for bloodshed, but we will defend what is ours." In the Council chamber, the emergency broadcast showed the scene at Europa. Members watched in shocked silence as their 10 mighty warships were surrounded by a human fleet that seemed to appear from nowhere. "How did they build so many ships?" asked the six-eyed alien. "How did we not see them?" Trell had no answer. His blue face had turned pale. On Earth, President Taylor and her advisors watched the confrontation through secure feeds. General Stone stood with his arms crossed, a small smile on his face. "The Council commander has 3 choices," he said. "Fight and lose, retreat with shame, or surrender." They watched as the Council ships slowly powered down their weapons. Then, one by one, they turned and moved away from Europa, heading out of the solar system. Ambassador Reed nodded with satisfaction. "They're retreating. Smart choice." "Send the recording to the Council," ordered Taylor. "Make sure every member sees what happened here today." Reed smiled as she prepared the message to accompany the video. She typed 5 simple words. "Perhaps you should have listened." The Council chamber was in chaos. Members shouted over each other, while aides rushed between them with reports and messages. On the main screen, the recording of the human fleet played again and again. "Order. We must have order." The Council leader, an ancient being with skin like wrinkled paper, banged a ceremonial staff on the floor. Gradually, the noise died down. Ambassador Trell stood in the center of the chamber, his blue skin now pale gray with fear. All eyes were on him. "You told us humans were primitive," said the red-scaled council member. "You said they were no threat." I was wrong," admitted Trell, his voice shaking. "Wrong." The council leader leaned forward. "Your mistake may have started a war with a species that can hide an entire fleet from our sensors and disable our mining operations without casualties. You did more than make a mistake." Guard stepped forward, and took Trell by the arms. He did not resist as they led him away. The military commander with metallic skin stepped into the center. "We must prepare for war. The humans have shown aggression." "Aggression?" interrupted a council member who had been quiet until now. This one had 4 arms and wise eyes. "They disabled our illegal mining operation after we destroyed their research base and killed their people. They surrounded our ships but allowed them to retreat without firing a shot. That is not aggression. That is restraint." Murmurs spread through the chamber. The commander frowned. "What do you suggest then?" "We have made a grave error in judgment about humans," said the 4-armed member. "We should seek diplomacy, not conflict." On the Council's main intelligence ship, analysts reviewed every piece of information about Earth and humans. The head analyst, a small being with a large brain visible through his transparent skull, presented findings to the emergency committee. "Humans developed space technology only 70 years ago," he explained, pointing to images of early human rockets. "Their advancement rate is unprecedented. Their first moon landing to a fleet of advanced warships in less time than most species take to improve a single-engine design." "How did they do it?" asked a committee member. "2 factors," said the analyst. "First, they reverse-engineered our technology from observation satellites. Second, and more concerning, their history is filled with warfare. While most council species evolved past violence thousands of years ago, humans have been perfecting it." He showed images of human battles throughout history. "They think differently. When faced with a challenge, their first instinct is to overcome it, not avoid it. When threatened, they unite rather than fragment. Our psychological models fail to predict this." Back on Earth, Ambassador Reed received a surprising message. The Council was requesting her return, not as a petitioner, but as an equal diplomatic representative. She sat with President Taylor and General Stone to discuss the invitation. "It could be a trap," warned Stone. Reed shook her head. "I don't think so. Our sources in the Council indicate Trell has been removed from his position. There's significant internal conflict about how to proceed with Earth." "Can we trust them?" asked Taylor. "Trust must be earned," Reed replied. "But this is an opportunity to establish real diplomatic relations from a position of strength." Taylor nodded slowly. "Go, but take a proper escort this time." 3 days later, Reed's diplomatic ship approached the Council station again. Unlike her first visit, this time she was accompanied by 5 warships that made no attempt to hide their weapons. As Reed stepped into the Council chamber, she noticed the difference immediately. Instead of looking down at her from high seats, the Council members sat at a round table with an empty chair waiting for her. The Council leader rose. "Ambassador Reed, we welcome you as the representative of Earth, a sovereign power in this galaxy." Reed took her seat, her face revealing nothing of her satisfaction. "I am here to listen to what the Council has to say." "We have much to discuss," said the leader, beginning with our formal apology for the tragic events at Europa. "The Council wishes to establish proper relations with humanity." Reed nodded. "Earth is willing to talk. But understand this, we come to this table as equals, not as supplicants." Around the chamber, Council members watched the human with new eyes filled with respect, and just a touch of fear. 6 months passed. The Great Hall on Earth's new space station, Unity, was filled with representatives from a dozen alien species. Humans moved among them, sharing food, drink, and conversation. Through large windows, Earth shone blue and beautiful against the blackness of space. Ambassador Reed stood with the 4-armed council member, who had become her friend and ally. His name was Jord, and he had been the first to speak for peace after the Europa incident. "Your people adapt quickly," said Jord, watching humans and aliens exchange ideas and technology. "Already you have built this station using both your designs and ours." Reed smiled. "Adaptation is our strength. It always has been." General Stone approached them, looking uncomfortable in his formal uniform. "Ambassador, the President is ready to begin the ceremony." The room quieted as President Taylor stepped onto a small stage. Beside her stood the council leader, looking small and fragile next to the human. "Today marks a new chapter," Taylor began. "6 months ago, our species were strangers. Today, we are partners. The technology exchange program has benefited all our worlds." The council leader spoke next. "Humanity has surprised us. You have taught the council an important lesson about judging others too quickly." The old alien's eyes showed genuine humility. "Your art, your music, your way of seeing the universe. These are as valuable as your technology." As they spoke, alarms suddenly blared. The station's lights dimmed and switched to emergency power. Security teams moved quickly to protect the gathered diplomats. Captain Bell's voice came through the station speakers. "This is not a drill. All personnel to emergency stations. Unknown vessels have entered the system." On the command deck, Bell showed Reed, Stone, and the council leader the readings from long-range sensors. 20 massive ships unlike any they had seen before were approaching Earth. "They're not council designs," said the leader, looking worried. "No," agreed Bell. "And they're not responding to any communication attempts." Stone studied the sensor readings. "Look at their energy signatures. Those are warships, bigger than anything we've built or seen." A message finally came through, displayed on the main screen. The language was strange, but the translation computers worked quickly. "Primitive species. Your worlds are now property of the Dominion. Surrender or be eliminated." The council leader trembled. "The Dominion. We thought they were just a legend. Conquerors from beyond the galaxy rim. Stories told to frighten children." "Well, they're no legend now," said Stone grimly. "And they're heading straight for Earth." Reed looked at the council leader. "Will the council stand with us?" The old alien straightened. "The council misjudged humanity once. We will not make that mistake again. Our fleets are yours to command." 3 days later, a combined fleet of human and council ships formed a defensive line between the approaching Dominion vessels and Earth. Captain Bell commanded the human flagship, Unity Defender, while Jord led the council forces. "The Dominion ships are in range," reported Bell's first officer. "They're charging weapons." Bell opened a channel to all ships in the defense fleet. "Remember your training. We've prepared for this. The Dominion thinks they're facing primitive worlds that will surrender easily. Let's show them how wrong they are." The first attacks from the Dominion were devastating. 3 defense ships were destroyed in seconds, but the combined fleet held its line. "Their technology is advanced," said Jord over the communications link, "but their tactics are straightforward. They've never faced united resistance before." Bell nodded. "Then let's show them something they've never seen." She activated the battle plan that human and council tacticians had created together. The defense fleet broke into smaller groups, using maneuvers that confused the Dominion sensors. Human stealth technology hid ships until they were close enough to strike critical systems. From the command center on Earth, Reed, Stone, and world leaders watched the battle unfold. "It's working," said Stone as 2 Dominion ships went dark. Reed nodded. "Alone, neither humans nor the Council could stand against this threat. Together, we might just survive." As the battle continued in space, Reed looked at the screen showing aliens and humans working side by side to defend their worlds. She thought about how the Council had once laughed at humanity, thinking them primitive and weak. No one was laughing now.